little glare off of that one. Happy Sunday, fight fans. Welcome to church. As usual, if you're not 18 years old, you should not be watching me without your parents' permission. If you are, worried about, it froze there for a second. If you guys are worried about swearing or somebody smoking marijuana, this is not the show for you. I am going to be doing both while I'm talking about boxing. As usual, the same format every week. I'm going to talk about the fights that went down. I'll talk about the news that's going down, and then we'll talk about the fights that are upcoming and in the future. We had a really busy week, and I'm only going to mention a few things, and we've got another busy week ahead of us. As usual, guys, if you watch the fucking thing, share the fucking thing. I'm not asking for anything else, just share the fucking video. We'll let the world do the rest. If you're insecure, again, not the show for you. I sometimes do this show shirtless. If I'm wearing a shirt, I am definitely bottomless. And this time around, I'm wearing my house coat. So, yeah, fuck it. I like being comfortable. That's the whole point of doing this like this. Because if I was on TSN or something, I'd have to wear a suit and be all nice and shit. So, that being said, guys, little reminder, I do a French version of this at 8:30. This video will be up on YouTube and Instagram in a day or two, and it is obviously live on Facebook. If I don't get to your question or your comment now, I will eventually, so expect for me to respond if you do leave something. That being said, let's get on with the show. All right, we'll start with February 14th, Nova Scotia. We had a few fights go down. Little controversy that I'll touch on. Jesse Wilcox, good fight. Brendan Brewer in a bit of a tougher fight than he would like, but he pulled out the win also. Dominic Babineau and Pedro Ivan Bernal. Some people are saying Pedro Ivan Bernal won. I definitely say that it deserves a rematch. We're going to talk about Dominic in a little bit, upcoming in March. I like the guy. I know him. I just, I'd have to see the full fight. But if it deserves a rematch, I have no problem. We got to give... everyone's always bitching about the opponents being easy here. And if the guy gave him a tough fight, we need to give the guy some props. So, shout out to Pedro Ivan Bernal. Main event and new WBC International Silver Cruiserweight title champion, Ryan Rodzicki. Listen, I like the kid and he's growing on me more and more. His boxing's getting better. It's kind of, I liked his personality and everything, but, he's boxing better. So it's just making me more enthusiastic about the future for him. And he had a hell of a fucking fight. The cruiserweight division's kind of asleep right now. And Ryan could definitely wake it the fuck up. That being said, I want to shout him out. Because he did something really cool that you don't see that often. The motherfucker went over to the corner and pulled out the stool for his opponent that he knocked out. When you just beat a guy up and then you help him to his corner and you even get the stool out for him, I mean, come on. How can you not like the kid? If our news agencies here had any fucking sense, that would have played instead of the kitten or the cute kid video at the end of every fucking news show across Canada. That was the most Canadian fucking thing done in a boxing ring. I mean, come on. Shout out Ryan Rodzicki. Nice title. Hopefully world title on the way. Only 11 fights in. I don't know if he saw it or not, but I mentioned the news is that Sergey Kovalev will be going to the cruiserweight division. So there's something to strive for. Be nothing cooler than him going up against fucking the equivalent of Ivan Drago. That being said, we'll move on to California. Golden Boy had a card go down. I've said it a few times, I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Garcia, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do. They're talking like he's going to fight Devin Haney. I will pay dollars for donuts. There is no way that fight is happening. It's not. I know it was cool. They both got in a ring. They both talked to each other. Trust me, it's not happening. I actually shared Eli Sekback, if you get a chance, has a really good video behind the scenes. Bernard Hopkins having a bit of a confrontation with Devin Haney's dad. And I suggest anyone that wants to get a behind the scenes look of the boxing world, of how fights get made and how fighters deal with promoters and other promoters and all the bullshit that goes down, go look at that video. It's illuminating, to say the least. I don't think that fight's going to happen. They're going to protect Ryan Garcia for as long as they can. They know what they got. He's getting better. I mean, I'm just not a fan of the kid. I didn't like his attitude when I met him, so it is what it is. But a kid's attitude that I do like, Blair the Flair Cobb. People are going to shit on him for this fight because he was careful. But this is exactly what the fuck I wanted him to do, because in his last fight, he was a little buck wild and he got caught for it. So, I mean, if you're going to fucking progress in this fucking game, you're going to make some checks, you're going to get big fights. They don't all have to be Arturo Gatti style fucking wars, bro. You can fucking win some off of defense. You can have a decision win that goes one-sided. There's nothing wrong with that, which is exactly what he gave us. Got an NABF title and played it safe. I'm completely okay with this. You know, he's a young guy. He's 13-0. He's got one draw. Beautiful backstory. If you get a chance, look into Blair the Flair Cobb. It involves being America's Most Wanted and airplanes and, cartels and, millions of dollars of cocaine and being on the run. A really, really fucked up cool story. A really good fight between Alexis Rocha and Brad Solomon. Highlighted a night for me, Jorge Linares back to 135. I guess they got the good food in Japan because he made it back down to 135 and looked spectacular against Carlos Morales. At lightweight or super lightweight, there are still some big fights for Jorge Linares, a real one. I know he's got some losses and he's been bested, but when he shows up, win or lose, he gives you a fucking fight. Jorge Linares, still one of my faves. P.S. If you leave a comment, I will get to it eventually. We will take a break in between segments. So we're almost done with this week. Let's get over with it. Last Saturday, PBC had a medium card on Fox. I mean, it's free TV. We can't fucking complain too much. There were a couple good fights, but more importantly, Caleb Sweethand Plant, IBF World Super Middleweight Champion. Feigen Butts was just a really small super middleweight, to be honest. You know what? 19-0. They're talking some big fights for Caleb Plant. We'll get to that in the news segment in a second. But you know what? I commend him. Beautiful offense, beautiful defense. He's got power. So he's got pop, he can drop a guy, he can hurt him to the body, he can back a guy up, he can make a guy charge at him. You know, he's got all the things, all the checks that you would want a guy to have. He's getting a little older, only 19-0. The big fights are coming for him. And, I think PBC is realizing what kind of star he is, because he packed the house in Nashville. Really good team behind him. Caleb Plant, one of my faves out there right now. So let's just double check, make sure none of you fucking said anything I gotta retort to. My man Tyson Cave. Tyson Cave just announced a fucking fight. Gonna be fighting for the WBC title. I'm not sure if it's international or... Okay, so on with the news. So Canelo's having a hard time finding a fucking opponent. It is what it is. I mean, I'll say it here now, nice and loud. BJ Saunders is a piece of shit. Recently posting on Instagram him sticking his finger in his ass and then making immigrants that don't understand English smell his finger. This added on top of that old video that he already apologized for making a crackhead dance for money. He's a rotten human being. He is the father of rotten children. I'm pretty confident his children, kill cats and stuff. If I was law enforcement, I'd keep an eye on them. Future fucking serial killers. He is a delinquent child who had children himself. I would love very much for BJ Saunders to leave the boxing world. I wish him all the malice and bad things possible in this universe. If you're gonna pick on fucking addicts and immigrants, man, I mean, it's one thing to be ignorant and then apologize, but you're gonna keep fucking doing it, man. Just, I hope your fucking lineage just dies off. I hope your genes just evaporate from this fucking world. You don't belong, homie. You don't belong. My man Wayne Binder wants to see Tyson Cave fight live. It's a treat, I won't lie. Little motherfucker can do work. Still the champ, Tyson Cave. Talking about a guy I like in Canada. The biggest pair of balls in all of Canada since George Chuvalo. There, I said it. Sammy Vargas is going to be fighting Virgil Ortiz in March at some point. Vargas has fucking fought everyone, taking losses to the biggest of the fucking names out there. Shout out to Lee Baxter for getting him that work. Ortiz is a young killer. He's 21 years old, 15-0, 15 KOs. A bad little motherfucker. He's going to have to cut his teeth on Sammy, though. Sammy's going to bring the work. I would like nothing more than for Sammy to finally get one on his side in a big fight. We'll see how that goes. I'm rooting for Sammy, and that's the way it is, because I am who I am. What else? So, news-wise. So, I did some digging. Last week, I bitched that nobody was giving me any fucking info on what was happening with Groupe Yvon Michel. Now, depending how you look at it, it's either good or bad. And I'll explain. So, hold on. I'm going to answer a couple people here. People jumping in. Judd Poulette, I am sorry, but we opened the show talking about Ryan Rodzicki. If you wait about 30 minutes, I'll be done my live, and then this thing will be on Facebook, and you'll be able to rewatch it. Now, I do suggest you watch the rest of the show, because I am a Ryan Rodzicki fan, so out of love. But that being said, we spoke about him at the beginning of the show. So, back to Groupe Yvon Michel. I was saying that I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and now I know. So, he's been super positive out there talking and acting as if everything's cool. Which, I mean, in hindsight, when I get there, you'll see what I mean. But depending on how it goes, it's either a good thing or a bad thing. Now, he's signed new fighters. He's making an announcement that we'll talk about in a little bit for a fight in March at the casino. And he's got a big fight at the Videotron Center in March in co-promotion with Top Rank. Now, the question is, his license might be suspended. Right now, at the present moment, it is suspended. And he has to go to court in order to settle all that, bring some paperwork and whatnot, and prove, certain things. But nothing has been said out publicly since, and he's just been acting like everything's cool, which is cool, I guess. But you see, I found out that this Tuesday, is the day they go to court. So he's actually got a press conference tomorrow, Monday, to announce his stuff at the casino. And then on Tuesday, he goes to court to see whether or not he has a license. So if the regie, depending on how angry the regie is, they'll either take the fact that he's acting nonchalant about this as proof of his innocence, or just him being a fucking turd. Because I don't know, but I think when accusations of this kind are leveled against you, and, you know, police are brought in and things are seized and you get a court date, maybe, just maybe, it's not business as usual. Even though that's best for your business, I think they might see it as a bit of a spit in the face. Because, you know, they really want to make sure that criminal elements are not involved in boxing. And you got to question whether or not they want to make an example of him for doing this. Or whether they'll make an example of him further because he just went on and acted like everything was cool, telling everybody he's got fights coming up. Fingers crossed he walks away from it. And the truth is, if anybody could fucking walk away from it, it's Yvon Michel. But I don't know. It really depends how bad. I guess we'll find out Tuesday. Let's see if any more comments. But you motherfuckers jumping in and jumping out, though, huh? That's okay. I have no problem with that, as long as you fucking share the video. Johnson Garzon will enjoy this. I have no idea who that is. Alright, so we're going to keep this moving. We're going to talk about the fights that are coming up. Friday, February 21st, from Moscow, Russia. Have gloves, will fight, and travel. Mr. Ryan the Real Deal Forward fights Arslanbek Idigov. Idigov is 17-0 with 7 KOs. This is for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. Fuck, how great would it be for Ryan Ford to come back with that title? All I want for Ryan Ford is to headline, to main event a major show in Canada for a major title. Super middleweight, we got plenty of Canadian talent over here. If he were to come back with a title, making that home show might be a little easier. I'm going to be rooting for Ryan Ford, and you should too. If you're Canadian and love the sport of boxing, you should respect what Ryan Ford's been doing the last couple of years. February 21st, I'm guessing mid-afternoon. Hit me up. I will have a link to that. You can count on it. Let's go to Friday afternoon from the UK. There is a USA ESPN MTK show. There's no opponents announced. There's a couple guys on here. There's like 4 featherweights and like 6 fucking super lightweights. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's on ESPN Plus, so that's going down Friday afternoon. Oh no, I just fucked myself. Hold on. February 21st. Fuck. Hold on. Canada. You guys have been awfully quiet, man. No one's been fucking talking. Where are you? No. That's it. Okay, so... Wait, was that it? There we go. Friday, February 21st. From Rimouski, live on TVA Spal. So luckily we don't have to travel all the way out there. Ida Tiger bringing you one hell of a card. I mean... David Lemieux now removed from this card. It's still a fucking decent fucking card, man. Thomas Chabot making his second fight. Hubert Poulain, Léla Baudouin, all second fights. Mathieu Duguay making his pro debut. Sébastien Roy, they announced his opponent, Flavio Michel. Now, if you don't know Flavio, I got respect for him. The man's been around. If he shows up in shape, he'll give Sébastien Roy one hell of a fight. That being said, I'm a big Sébastien Roy fan. And I think this might be the fight of the night, the most competitive fight. I want somebody to answer me on this, but I just figured this one out. Nurzat Sabirov is on the card, but he's announced as light heavyweight. Normally he's super middleweight, so if somebody could clue me in on that, if it's a mistake or if he's going up permanently or if it's a temporary thing, I'd love to find out. Super welterweight, highlight reel, Artem Organizayan isn't going to be in action. I mean, all this kid has to do now is learn a little English, learn a little French, and he'll be set. I realize he's a quiet guy, he's a bit of a killer, but I mean, you're going to have to do a bit of talking when you're fucking, putting up the type of Instagram numbers you're putting down. You're going to have to talk to somebody soon. Here's looking forward to maybe talking to me. Super middleweight, poster boy, Eric Bazinian, 24-0, looking to make it 25-0. The last couple years, his career's really been going in the right direction. He's been pushing. Everything's been going really well for him. He's in fantastic shape. He's got a young family. He's a good-looking kid. If you're a boxing promoter, if you're a golden boy, you're seeing future possibilities with this guy. That being said, February is not too far away from May, so fingers crossed Eric walks away unscathed. He might be back in action real soon. Main event, the Mullet, the Grizzly, Simon Keane versus Daniel Martz. Best way to end off a night with a heavyweight fight. TV Aspal is going to get their money's worth. That is 100% sure. Great night of fights from Eye of the Tiger, February 21st, live on TV Aspal. Saturday afternoon from the UK, York Hall, ESPN, Queensberry Promotions, Frank Warren, some bantamweights, super middleweights. The most experienced fighter on this card has 11 fights, but it's going to be free on ESPN Plus if you got it. Saturday afternoon, if not, hit me up, I will give you a link. Saturday, a little closer to home, Brampton, Ontario, United Boxing Promotions. We got one hell of a card here. I want to shout out my Donnybrook boxing sister, Erica Hernandez, going to be in action against Tanya Walters. You know what? Let's go look at Tanya. I know nothing about Tanya. No picture on BoxRec. Not good news. She fought a girl that was 1-6 for her pro debut. Her second fight's going to be against Erica. I got bad news for you, Tanya. It's going to go very fucking badly. Be thankful it's only 4 rounds. Erica's going to do work. Super lightweight in action, Cody Kelly. Cruiserweight, Bronx Strumpf. Super middleweight, Jason Alexander. Super welterweight, Brandon Cook back in action. Like I said the last time, just a comeback fight. Get the wheels and everything going again. Middleweight, Sandeep Badi. Solid little card. I don't know if there's a way to watch this, but as usual, if there is a link, I will have it. If you're smart enough to realize what the fuck's going on this weekend, you know what the fuck's next. A big fight. WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, faces Tyson Fury for a second time. Historically, Deontay Wilder has done better on all his rematches. Tyson Fury never been in a rematch. Tyson Fury got up off the canvas twice against Deontay Wilder. No man has ever done that like that. Hell, he got himself a draw because technically he was winning the fight except for the knockdowns. Here's the thing. I've said it before, I'm not the biggest Deontay Wilder fan. I got immense respect for him. He's got bewildering power. I'm a big fan of Tyson Fury. I got to meet him and talk to him, and I just love the story, and I like the guy. I just like the guy. And the story's so good. It'd be great for him to, now back with Kronk, to finally fucking do this, to get that one belt he never put his hands on, to maybe get that fight with Joshua. Just the story would just be perfect. And Deontay, I mean, if he took the loss, it wouldn't be nothing to fucking sneeze at, and he could come back real easy from that. So it's not, I just want Tyson Fury to win. Eventually, Deontay Wilder I mean, the lack of boxing skill has to catch up with him. Sooner or later, you gotta be on the other side of the coin. So, get at me if I'm wrong. Tell me what you think. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, that's next Saturday. That is going to be some major pay-per-view bullshit. I am terrified of what Quebec is going to do because there's a strong chance it'll be on Videotron and we'll be stuck listening to it in French. And we'll have to pay like 65 to 95 fucking dollars for it. Fucking hate the fact that Canada does not have ESPN Plus. So we were talking about Yvon Michel before. We'll get to that in a second. But Ida Tiger also made some announcements on top of the Rimouski card. Now they're coming back to the casino twice in March. So far, 4 fights announced, 2 apiece. March 12th, Thursday, at the Casino de Montreal on Punch and Grace. Ida Tiger Management brings you, so far, Sadruddin Akhmedov. You got your money's worth right there. And main eventing the returning Stephen Butler. Now I realize it's not the fucking Tokyo Dome or this giant Japanese arena, but it'll be good to see Stephen Butler back in the ring. He's such a young kid. I got immense respect for him. I think, just to get him back in the ring and do what he does best, I think he'll feel amazing afterwards. And I think a lot of his fans will be relieved as well. Saturday, the 2 fights announced for the Casino de Montreal Ida Tiger show. Lexan Metzier versus Ryan Young. They already announced that one. So it's going to be for the NABF Super Middleweight title. I got respect for Ryan Young. And I honestly think this might be a little early for Lexan. But I know for a fact Ryan Young has walked away from at least 2 offers that I know of. That, challenges he laid down and then took back. So here's hoping he shows up for Lexan in good shape and shows Lexan what he's got left in the tank. That being said, I think Lexan Metzier, despite my apprehension of him being only on his 9th fight, I think Lexan Metzier blows Ryan Young out of the water. No offense, Ryan, but if I'm wrong, I'll say it live on here too, and I'll fucking eat my words. But yeah. Main eventing, Metzier G-Time Germain, back at the casino again. They haven't announced an opponent for him, but I'm looking for news on that. It's probably going to be something decent. So back to Yvon Michel now. So he announces March 21st he's going to be at the Casino de Montreal. For fuck's sakes, I want this guy to keep his fucking license because it's a decent fucking card. Dizon Belfont, Abed El... Oh, fuck, I fucked up this guy's name. Abed El Safadi, sorry. Simon Pierre Adé, Marie-Pierre Hull, Terry Osias, Mazel McDennis, Kane Huron, and Kim Clavel. Fuck, I need this guy to get his license. Tuesday is going to be a big day for us, guys. I don't think they're going to take his license away from him. But, if they keep him suspended for another month, that fucks up March. That fucks up... Okay, mind you, they can still do the Better BF fight because Better BF has nothing to do with Yvon, and Top Rank has the money to do it, but fuck, it would suck. Videotron Center now. The 2 other fights announced for the Better BF Meng fight would be Oscar Rivas and Michael Zewski. I really fucking hope they get Zewski a title fight, or at least a number 1 fucking contender fight. Something. We gotta get the fucking ball rolling for this guy. If you're a fan of Michael Zewski, you should fucking message Group Yvon Michel. They don't listen to mine, but for fuck's sakes, get this guy a fucking decent fight. Oscar Rivas now signed co-promotion deal with Top Rank. I just want to point out that if he doesn't get his license, that contract's technically void, I guess. But Top Rank would obviously keep Oscar Just such bad shit, man. I just want this guy to keep his fucking license. Otherwise, in the news, I mean, there have been some talk of Eve Ulysses, and I'll tell you what I know. So, the shit I'm saying to you now, I knew before I went to Cuba. So that should give you an idea. There was talks of Renal Boivard taking a step back. Hell of a coach. The guy's done enough for the game. If he wants to take a step back, if he thinks that's the right idea, that's on him and not a problem. The promoter, however, made a request to his fighters, Stephen Butler and Eve Ulysses. Now, Butler is now officially with Mike Moffa, which is not a bad choice. Great gym, good sparring, and I don't think there's much to change for Stephen, but there's still stuff to learn, so, changing it up, not necessarily a bad thing. Eve Ulysses, though, there was talk, like during that whole Kim Clavel thing, people got really excited and they started talking out their asses. And this whole time, he's been talking to John Scully. And he had every intention, knowing that the promoter and the coach were both talking about him taking a step back. We knew. So he started looking on his own, and John Scully was on the top of his list for obvious fucking reasons. Now, John's already down here for Arthur Beterbiev, so, bonus. Plus, he works in Connecticut. He's got plugs everywhere across the fucking U.S. And anyone that's ever worked with him will tell you the exact same fucking thing. This is no lie. Okay? Person will work with John Scully for the very first time, and everybody walks away the same way. They're all amazed because he tweaks a little thing. Not a big thing, just a little thing. But that little thing makes such a fucking difference. I'm not going to name names, but there are a few guys out there that I know of that he's tweaked. And that's what he is good at. Eve Ulysses does not need to learn anymore. He has learned what he can learn. However, he can be tweaked. There are things he can change just enough to make, at the level he's at, any minute adjustment is huge. You need to understand that boxing sometimes can become a sport of inches and seconds, and those little adjustments, when you're chasing world championship shit, those little adjustments can be so important. So, Renal Boivard, still officially part of the Ulysses team, making that clear now. However, not going to be the head coach. If you want, look at it like The Godfather, when, Vito Corleone had to take a step back as he was getting old, and he had to pass over the reins. Well, he was still sitting in on meetings, and he was still, giving his opinions on shit. And I think that is a perfect role for the Godfather himself, Renal Boivard. Immense respect for him. And I'm happy that Ulysses is keeping him in the team. I realize that, the first thing that happens when a fighter takes a loss is they want to burn the house down. They want to fucking fix everything. They want to change everything. But, when time passes and reflection is done, you can sometimes, drastic moves aren't necessarily the moves to make. Sometimes it's just a little adjustment. So, that being said, that's it for me this week. I'm in my bathrobe, not wearing a shirt. For those of you that get offended, go ahead and send me messages. My best videos, by the way, the ones with the most views, oddly enough, no shirt. Just saying, a lot of weirdos out there. That's it for me. Guys, if you watch the fucking thing, at least fucking share it. John Hardy, I talked about the bruiser Ryan Rodzicki at the beginning of the show. Now that it's ended, in a couple minutes you'll be able to rewatch it on Facebook and you can catch it. I talk about Ryan at the beginning. The format's the same every week, guys. I talk about last weekend. I talk about the news. We talk about the future. And then I say goodbye. That's it for me. If you watched it, share it. Homework assignment this week. Find a random person. Ask them if they like boxing. Regardless of their answer, tell them to check out Manny Montreal. Like, share, subscribe, all that weird bullshit. Go to Instagram and YouTube. This video will be up in a day or two. I am weirdly tired for 10:30 at night. I am getting old because I gotta be up at 6 a.m. Fucking hate things right now. That's it for me. Thank you guys. I'll see you next week.